Okay, so here we have a... Well, that game looked very promising, but you'll see, you'll see. So I'm in my Tier 10 Thunderer. This is a mostly tier... No, it's actually a Tier 10 game, but some of the ships are only Tier 8, like the Anchorage, Prince Eugen, Amalfi, and so on. We have only 4 battleships per side, of which I am the top tier battleship. And let's see how this goes. So the Thunderer, I just recently got the ship. I have probably less than 30 games in it. It's a very powerful ship. It's not very tanky, but it has excellent guns. It has pretty decent concealment at 12.3. It has a devastating AP broadside if you can get it to bear on enemy ships. It's very accurate. You also have very devastating HE with an insane 65-something% fire chance, so you can burn people a lot. However, the Thunderer is a squishy battleship, so it's not usually recommended to push up forward and tank in that thing. So, what do we have on the other team? We have a Montana and a Lion. Lion also a fire spammer. Montana, obviously very strong AP broadside, one of the heaviest in the game. Massachusetts, a very good brawler. Odin, also very brawly, especially with the torpedoes. We have Des Moines and Stalingrad. Stalingrad, obviously very strong with the AP. Des Moines can burn us pretty badly. Riga and Rune. Rune can be a bit of a kiter. Lots of talents, and we only have 1 destroyer per side, Benson, and he's young? I don't know. So in the beginning of the game, I move over to the A cap because I spawned on this side. And what I really never recommend and what I don't like to see is when people actually completely switch sides. Like that Odin here who spawned over next to the Georgia, and I don't know exactly where he's going right now. But if you switch complete sides, you're taking your ship out of the game for a long time, and your reasoning better be really good to switch the sides. So right now the Benson is actually moving into A pretty aggressively. And I had AP loaded because I was expecting to see some enemy cruisers. So I'm firing the AP, hoping to support my Benson a little bit there. But the Benson is rushing in incredibly aggressive right in the beginning, going through the middle of the cap in front of the entire enemy team, popping a smoke and dying. So yeah, so that's one way to start a game. Certainly is. Yeah, and I am a bit salty in the chat. Like already, then we just lost our spotting on this side, and the torpedo power of the Benson. But what you gonna do? I actually might have given him a plays poorly report right there. So we're moving forward. Petropavlovsk is taking the lead here. He's trying to take a position around the corner so he can shoot his amazing AP guns. And we're taking a little broader course outside and waiting for anything that we can actually shoot at. Well, because we don't have spotting, so we have to be lucky to find anything to shoot at. We have a Des Moines in B. Our team is moving into more or less defensive positions. And I'm turning away. Because the probability that we can actually push up right down into a Rune, a Lion, the Montana, and 2 talents, it's unlikely that we can push in there and survive. So I'm turning away, trying to take a kiting position. Idea being that we will hold them here and do a lot of damage to them, and with a little luck, our team on the other side can actually push. So I'm firing blind. I waited too long to shoot at the talent, so the shots go wide. So not exactly the most promising start of a game, I have to say. Look at the Thunderer. Now that's a nice battleship right there. Also, these guns reload really, really fast. So Odin actually has switched the sides completely, and he is now moving in, while the Bismarck is keeping back with us. Yeah, I don't know. Bismarck is not really a sniping ship. You can't really hit anything from that distance. He would probably be better served up with the Odin, and I would give fire support from the back. So, first damage of the game, not a lot so far, but we're working on it. There we spot the Montana behind the island, and we fire some HE over that. You know, it's always like that. Once you have HE loaded, you see a lot of targets where you should use AP, And once you have AP loaded, everyone turns their nose in and you don't have anything to shoot at all. So here you can see the power of the HE. A couple of shells made it over the island. Montana is burning right now. And there we have the Odin pushing into the cap, which also pretty audacious on his side. While our Odin is also moving forward, but our Odin is already taking pretty much a beating. They're both secondary ships. Or secondary spec chips, I think. So I'm waiting for the HE to reload, and I think I need to change my angle a little bit. I've also been already hit quite heavily from the talents and runes hiding behind that island over there. Another 5,000 with HE against an enemy battleship. It's just... The HE on this ship is super reliable. To be honest, I don't like when I'm on the receiving end of that HE, because they just, hit you very badly and it hurts a lot. And now I'm switching to AP, and I have expert loader, so it takes about 10 seconds to switch, because the Montana is moving in and he is giving perfect broadside. So, firing the back guns, and I'm trying to bring the front guns slowly around without giving too much. And I underestimated his speed, to be honest, but still, 6,400. And now the front guns. And with the reload speed on this ship, the pretty good range, there's the first citadel. And I angle out in order to make him bounce his shells on my armor. Because Montana has a fearsome broadside. You don't want to take that broadside unless you really have to. And so far we've been lucky. So, full salvo out at the Montana. Come on. Bring the front guns around. There we go. And we just lost our Riga to their Odin. And there's another citadel on the Montana. We are now at 77,000. 82,000. So the Montana has taken a lot of hits here. And I think that is the... Let's see... Yeah, the Riga is pretty angry in chat at us because we did not push up with him. He's not completely wrong. He was very much alone there, but it might not have been the best idea of him to push up there in his cruise ship. Because we're about to lose the Odin up there. Odin is now pushing into the enemy Odin. Since it's a German battleship, he really wants to... probably really wants to get his torpedoes away. And he actually does. I didn't realize that. So, the Odins knock each other out, and I'm actually getting into a discussion here with the Riga. And I'm kind of blaming him for getting killed because he pushed up so aggressively. But we have no spotting here, so it's really difficult to actually push in and do anything. We were dealing fairly well in this exchange. And we could punish them while they were moving in. So, the ship with the unspeakable name is spotted. I have HE loaded, so we fire at him. And I'm aware that the Talons and the Lion are actually moving up on that side. So I have to angle out, and I'm actually at the border of the map, which I realize right now, which is not perfect, so I'm intending to turn the ship around and then push it. And I look at the game, and right now it doesn't look good. We have a Prince Eugen and a Georgia in C, but they're getting flanked by at least 4 enemy ships. We have an Anchorage in B, which is getting attacked by 2 of the enemy ships. And we have the Petropavlovsk and the Bismarck and me here on this side, and we are kind of stalled by the enemy ship.
Problem solved, sir.
Yeah, I think I make a decent point there in chat. Sometimes I hate discussing in chat, but sometimes it's just necessary. There was no need for me to push into A at this point. Actually, I think that would have been a mistake, because I would have been melted by all the enemy damage right there. Also, I think our Odin, our Riga, should not have pushed into A. We could have held them probably here. And maybe the Bismarck would have been better served to push over towards C, or the Odin should have stayed in C, whatever. So I decide, all right, this is a time we need to make a play here. We need to actually do something. I'm a little torn here. Maybe I should send this to Flamu to get a review or to get his opinion on the game. Because I think I have moved away too far from A here, but I don't think necessarily that I misplayed my ship completely at this point. Because now we have the Petropavlovsk. Petropavlovsk, a super tanky battleship, yeah. It's a Russian cruiser, so almost like a battleship. He is pushing into 3 ships that are very close to each other, one of which, the Rune, also has torpedoes. He has not a lot of support, and he cannot cap A by going there. So he is risking his ship for literally no gain. But I'm now moving up to support him against the ships that are actually hiding in there. So we see the Rune. And we spot the Lion. So we fire at the Lion, obviously. Nice broadside. I think he is slowing down, so I might have overshot there. Yeah. The question would be, I don't think I made any major misplays so far. I could have been a little closer to the enemy. I am not 100% sure why I switched to HE here. But I mean, I did 8,500 damage on the Rune. I am not sure that I would have done that much more with AP, to be honest, because the Rune has a turtle bag. And now our Petropavlovsk gets flanked from 3 ships. The Rune behind him, the Talon in front, and the Lion. And obviously, he goes down. There's nothing he can do about that. Yeah. However, the other Talon got really, really badly injured and gets taken out by the Anchorage. And now our Anchorage and our Georgia are pushing into these guys here, which, you know, is insofar understandable that they are being pushed really hard from C. So they're trying to kind of get away from there and try to fight their way over to A, link up with the rest of the team. I get that. So right now we're actually trying to get the broadside of these ships over here. So the Rune is down. And we have normalized the game. We are still in the lead. However, we are losing B, we have lost C, and the Prince Eugen is moving on the other side. So our Georgia is rushing in, potentially with a speed boost, reaching up to 40 knots towards the Lion. And I'm turning around my guns around in order to aim at the ships that are coming through the channel, especially the enemy destroyer. And I'm switching to HE again. Because if we can take out that destroyer, we might actually have a better chance of winning this game. Because in the end, if it comes down to, you know, a battleship versus a destroyer, the destroyer has all the cards in hand. And we spot the Stalingrad, take a pot shot at him. However, we had HE loaded and there was not enough time to switch, even with expert loader. But we do some decent damage against him. And the Bismarck manages to flank and take out the Lion. So now we have in front of us a Massachusetts and the enemy destroyer with the deep water torpedoes that are very difficult to spot. And we shoot at him. And the Anchorage, I think, is making a mistake. He should have turned away from the Massachusetts instead of moving towards him. Because he's smoking up so close to the Massachusetts that the Massachusetts will probably spot him anyway, because he will be within 2 kilometers. And the Stalingrad takes out the Georgia. I see the Stalingrad over there, I have AP loaded, and I fire. I mean, 11,000 damage, that's pretty good. However, it's not enough to take out the Stalingrad, obviously. And there's the return fire, which just, you know, 18,000. Stalingrad's guns are like battleship guns, essentially. So I have to turn away because I don't want to deal with Stalingrad and Massachusetts in a close-ranged fight. That's not a fight I can win. Massachusetts is perfectly angled, so I try to take a shot at the Stalingrad at the back, but I bounce 3 shells on his armor, on his strong stellinium armor. And he bounces some on me. So it's just a bounce fest right now. So right now I also have to turn away. Pushing in would not give me any serious advantages, but it might cost me my ship really, really fast, and I have to preserve my HP. And I'm thinking if I can hit this, the Massachusetts once more... Nah, never mind, we can get him. No, he healed. Now we need to hit him one more time with HE. We don't even need to set a fire, we just want to sink him in order to take his guns out of the game. There we go. So far so good. Now we have another problem coming up. Prince Eugen is on our flank and the Riga is on our flank. So I'm switching back to AP. I'm targeting the Riga. And I'm turning away from the Prince Eugen. Because Prince Eugen, he does not have the greatest guns, but they are 200mm German guns and the AP can really hurt me. So I'm firing at the Riga. Just, you know, hoping to hit something on him. And I do. I actually knock him out completely with 2 citadels. So we got the Confederate right now, even though it's not shown in the replay, but it's in the text box. So now the problem becomes that Prince Eugen is a very tanky ship. Well, it's not super tanky, but it's difficult to citadel because of the German turtleback armor. So I'm actually thinking whether I should switch to HE to do more damage to him. Especially now that he's sharpening the angle as well. We do another 6,000 to him. And he's turning in his nose in. So I have an island behind me, between me and the Stalingrad. And the Stalingrad is tangling with our Bismarck. And I'm thinking, that's probably not a fight the Bismarck is going to win. I look over. Yeah, this looks very difficult for the Bismarck. So what are we going to do about the Prince Eugen? He's completely nose in. There is no way that we can hit his citadel. At least I think so. So we switch to HE and we set him on fire. And now I'm aware that it becomes very dangerous. I'm checking the Stalingrad will get my broadside pretty soon. I need to get rid of the Prince Eugen. And soon. But he is doing it perfectly. He is not moving too aggressively towards me. He's not trying to torp me. And now the Stalingrad has my broadside. It's like, what am I gonna do? And even the Prince Eugen is now using AP. Alright, so let's see. One more salvo, I guess. And that should finish off Prince Eugen. Alright, 3rd kill. And we are now angled against the Stalingrad. And we are also outside of his detection range. So we should be able to disengage for the moment and get off our last heal here. But now it's really, really close. The enemy leads by 200 points. They still have the destroyer and they have a Stalingrad over there. And that's when the torpedoes come around the corner. And I fire my last salvo. And then the torpedoes get me. What a disappointment. I don't even hit the Stalingrad. So. 191,000 damage done. 2 million damage tanked. 3 ships sunk. 11 fire sets, so some people hate me probably. But in the end, it comes down to a Bismarck against the Stalingrad. And there is just no way that the Bismarck can win this fight. If the Stalingrad does not make a huge mistake and turns like full broadside in, which he doesn't. And even if the Bismarck could sink the Stalingrad, there is pretty much no way that he could sink the destroyer and recapture the point. So this game is lost. I do think it's important to be, you know, a good loser in most games. So, GG, gentlemen. Come on. It's crazy. Stalingrad actually has more health points than the Bismarck. And there, he just raked the superstructure so hard. And the enemy destroyer takes the kill. And that's it then. Well, too bad it was a loss, but it was a pretty interesting game. So, thank you very much. See you next time.